You are a hive worker on Tertium Secundus. Your shift ended 3 hours ago, but the foundry never truly sleeps. You drag yourself through the lower stacks, boots crunching on rust and ash when the sky tears open. Not with thunder, not with the roar of Imperial ships. Something falls from the darkness above, a body twisted and broken, slamming into the alley ahead with a wet, sickening crack. You stop. Everyone stops. The corpse lies in a spreading pool of black liquid. Then it moves. Fingers twitch, bones snap back into place with sounds like breaking wood. The chest inflates. And when the thing stands, its eyes are not human anymore. They are windows into something hungry, something that has been waiting to understand what this galaxy tastes like. Black tendrils explode from the body like whips made of living oil. They lash outward, wrapping around the nearest worker, a woman who was standing too close, too curious. She doesn't scream. She doesn't have time. Her body dissolves into the tendrils, flesh peeling away in sheets, bones crumbling into powder, until there is nothing left but red mist and the memory of her shape. The tendrils retract. The man who fell from the sky grows taller. His skin ripples with new muscle, new mass, new knowledge. He consumes 11 more people in the next 30 seconds. Not because he is cruel, not because he is evil, but because this is what Alex Mercer does. He learns. He adapts. He consumes. And he has just arrived in the Imperium of Man. This was the moment everything changed. The moment a hive world of 18 billion souls became ground zero for a threat the Imperium had no words for. Not chaos, not Zanus, not mutation or heresy in any form the Inquisition had catalogued across 10,000 years of warfare. Alex Mercer is a biological singularity, a virus given consciousness, a predator wrapped in human skin, an evolutionary endpoint that turns everything it touches into more of itself. In his home universe he brought New York City to its knees. In Warhammer 40K he has an entire galaxy of biomass to harvest. And the Imperium does not yet understand what stands before them. Before we watch this planet burn, do me a favor. If you want to see how deep this nightmare goes, if you want to watch the Imperium's greatest warriors fail against something they cannot comprehend, hit that subscribe button. Because this story only gets darker. And the horror we're about to unpack will challenge everything you thought you knew about 40K's deadliest threats. Now let's continue the autopsy of a doomed world. The Administratum designates the incident as an unidentified biological contact at 0900 hours Tertium Standard Time. Local Arbites units are dispatched to the lower stacks. They arrive in armored trucks, shotguns loaded with executioner rounds, riot shields locked. They find an empty alley slick with something that looks like oil but smells like copper and rot. They find 12 pairs of boots, 12 sets of ration cards scattered on the ground. No bodies, no blood, no witnesses. The senior officer radios for a Medicaid team and quarantine protocols. It is already too late. Mercer has already moved 3 blocks deeper into the hive. He has already consumed a gang of underhive scavengers. He has already learned the layout of the city from their memories, the language of Low Gothic from their tongues, the fear of the God Emperor from their dying prayers. The Arbites set up a perimeter. They seal the district. They tell the workers to remain in their hab blocks and await further instruction. The workers obey, because in the Imperium you obey or you die. But obedience will not save them. Mercer does not follow Imperial law. He does not recognize borders or quarantine zones. He is biomass in motion, evolution accelerated to a speed that would make the Tyranids pause in admiration. Within 6 hours the infection spreads to the neighboring stack. Within 12 hours the Arbite's precinct house goes silent. Within 24 hours the planetary defense force is mobilized, and by then, Alex Mercer has consumed 417 people. He knows their fears, he knows their hopes, he knows how this society functions. The Adeptus Mechanicus arrives on the 4th day. A delegation from the local Forge world, Skitarii shock troops, backed by combat servitors and tech priests, carrying equipment that hums with barely understood power. They deploy augers that scan for biological anomalies, searching for the epicenter of the infection. What they find should be impossible. The readings show a single entity with the biomass signature of over 4,000 organisms, all consolidated into one unified consciousness. The Magos in charge of the operation, a hunched figure more machine than man, declares this a Class Omega xenological threat, not warp-tainted, not mutation. Something entirely outside the established categories of Imperial threat assessment. They recommend immediate sterilization protocols, but the planetary governor hesitates. 18 billion souls live on Tertium Secundus. You cannot simply erase a hive world without approval from Terra, and Terra is 50,000 light-years away. While the Mechanicus argues with the Governor's Council, Alex Mercer makes his first critical evolution. He consumes a sanctioned psyker. The woman is a low-level astropath, blind and branded, her mind open to the warp in carefully controlled ways. When Mercer's tendrils wrap around her, when her biomass integrates into his, something changes. He feels it immediately, a new dimension of perception, a sense beyond sight or sound or touch. The warp, the immaterium, that screaming ocean of souls and nightmares that underlies reality itself. Mercer does not understand it, not yet, but he recognizes power when he tastes it, and now he can feel the warp like a new limb. Unused but present, waiting to be learned. This is the moment the infection stops being a planetary crisis. This is the moment it becomes something that could threaten the entire sector. The psyker's death sends a psychic scream across the system. Every astropath within 10 light-years feels it. A sudden spike of wrongness, like reality flinching. On the neighboring hive world of Tertium Prime, an inquisitorial acolyte monitoring routine astropathic chatter freezes. She replays the signal 3 times, cross-referencing it against every known warp signature in the Ordo Hereticus database. It matches nothing. Not demonic incursion, not Jane Steeler infection, not rogue psyker manifestation. She flags it for immediate escalation and forwards the data to her master, Inquisitor Carveth of the Ordo Xenus, currently investigating rumors of Tau infiltration 2 systems away. Carveth receives the transmission 8 hours later. He reads the report once. Then he cancels all current operations and redirects his strike cruiser toward Tertium Secundus at maximum warp speed. He does not yet know what he will find. But 30 years of hunting Xena's threats have taught him to recognize the smell of extinction-level events, and this smells like the end of everything. The planetary governor finally makes the call to evacuate the infected districts. He orders the PDF to establish hard perimeters around the contaminated zones and begin civilian extraction. 60 million people are designated for immediate relocation to the upper hive. The evacuation begins at dawn. Transport trucks roll through designated safe corridors, loading families, workers, children clutching toys made from scrap metal. They are told this is temporary. They are told the Emperor protects. They are not told that the soldiers escorting them have orders to shoot anyone showing signs of mutation. They are not told that the artillery batteries on the city's outer walls have been retargeted inward, loaded with incendiary shells designed to burn entire districts to ash. They are not told that the Mechanicus is preparing virus bombs in case conventional fire fails. The Imperium has decided that Tertium Secundus can afford to lose a few million souls if it means containing the threat. But Alex Mercer is no longer in the infected districts. He is already 3 levels above the quarantine line, wearing the face of a mid-level administratum clerk, walking through checkpoints with forged credentials he pulled from the clerk's dissolving memories, and he is heading toward the spaceport. The Skitari are not like the PDF. They are the Adeptus Mechanicus's shock troops, soldiers rebuilt with augmetic enhancements, their flesh cut away and replaced with superior machinery. They feel no fear because most of their emotional centers have been removed. They do not question orders because their neural implants hardwire obedience directly into their cortex. When Magos Draven deploys 200 Skitari Rangers into the infected zone, it is not an act of desperation, it is cold calculation. These troops carry radium carbines that fire radioactive rounds capable of liquefying organic matter at the molecular level. Their optics can track heat signatures through 3 meters of solid metal. Their combat doctrines are updated in real time through noospheric data tethers. They are designed to hunt things that conventional soldiers cannot kill, and for the first 30 minutes it works. The Skitari move through the underhive in perfect synchronization, each unit covering angles with mathematical precision. Their augurs detect biomass clusters in the ruins of the 47th Regiment's last stand. They advance weapons raised targeting matrices calculating optimal firing solutions. When the first infected civilians shamble from the darkness, the Skitari open fire without hesitation. Radium rounds tear through corrupted flesh, breaking down cellular structures into radioactive sludge. The infected fall. They do not rise again. For a moment, Magos Draven, watching through helmet feeds, allows himself the closest thing his modified brain can produce to satisfaction. Then one of his rangers disappears, not killed, not even attacked. Simply gone, yanked backward into shadow by something faster than their optics could track. The data tether cuts out, then another Skitari vanishes, then 3 more, and suddenly the hunters realize they are being hunted. Alex Mercer drops from the ceiling directly into the center of their formation. He has stopped pretending to be human. His body is a nightmare of biological optimization. Black carapace armor grown from compressed biomass, blade arms extruding from his shoulders like organic chainswords, his face a blank slate of smooth flesh with eyes that glow with borrowed psychic potential. He moves through the Skitari.
Tertium Secundus is gone. The governor goes pale. He understands now.
The Inquisition is not here to save the planet. They are here to decide how many people can escape before they burn it to bedrock. And the answer is not many. Carveth deploys his personal retinue, battle sisters from the Order of the Bloody Rose, a Vindicare assassin, an Ordo Xenos xenobiologist, and 2 Deathwatch kill teams on secondment from the Long Watch. They establish a command post in the planetary governor's spire and begin coordinating with local military forces. The xenobiologist, an ancient woman named Veera, who has studied every known xenospecies in the Imperium's archives, reviews the surveillance footage 17 times. Then she delivers her analysis. This organism exhibits characteristics of tyrannid bioadaptation, genestealer mimicry, and warp-touched mutation, but matches none of them exactly. It is unprecedented, entirely outside classification. When Carveth asks if it can be killed, Veera pauses for a long time before answering. Everything can be killed, she says, but killing this thing requires understanding how it exists in the first place, and they do not have that understanding. They do not have the time to gain it, and every second they wait, it grows stronger. Carveth stares at the map of Tertium Secundus and makes the hardest decision of his career. He activates his command vox and speaks directly to his astropath. Send a message to the sector fleet, he says. Request immediate support, and include this phrase, prepare for exterminatus. The Deathwatch arrives before the message even reaches the fleet. Kill Team Arcturus was already in system, hunting Genestealer remnants on a neighboring moon when they intercepted the Inquisitor's distress codes. 5 Space Marines from 5 different chapters, each a veteran of countless Xenos purges, each trained to kill things that would break mortal minds. Brother Sergeant Thalos of the Ultramarines, Brother Kryn of the Space Wolves, Brother Mortis of the Iron Hands, Brother Librarian Ezekiel of the Blood Angels, and Brother Victus of the Black Templars, whose hatred of the alien burns with zealous fire. They drop into the hive via Thunderhawk, their armor black as void, their weapons blessed by Tech Marines and anointed with sacred oils. They are the Emperor's angels of death, and they are about to learn that even angels can bleed. Inquisitor Carveth briefs them in the command post. He shows them the footage, the biomass consumption, the adaptive evolution, the metabolized radiation. Thalos watches in silence, his enhanced mind processing tactical variables at superhuman speed. When the briefing ends, he asks the only question that matters. What is the kill priority? Carveth's answer is immediate. Capture is impossible. Containment has failed. The only objective is elimination. If they cannot kill it, they must delay it long enough for the Exterminatus fleet to arrive. Thalos nods. He has fought Tyrannid hive tyrants that could shred tanks with their bare claws. He has dueled orc war bosses the size of dreadnoughts. One biological anomaly, no matter how adaptive, cannot stand against 5 Astartes operating in coordination. He turns to his kill team and issues orders. They will hunt this creature through the underhive, corner it in a kill zone, and execute it with massed bolter fire and concentrated psychic assault. It is a sound plan. It is textbook Deathwatch doctrine. It is completely wrong. They find Mercer in the ruins of District 41, standing in the center of a plaza, surrounded by the corpses of 300 PDF soldiers. He is not hiding. He is waiting. His form has changed again. He stands 3 meters tall now, his biomass compressed into something that resembles power armor made of living tissue, black and red and glistening like an open wound. Bladed appendages extend from his shoulders and spine, each one capable of punching through ceramite. His face is blank, featureless, but they can feel him watching them with senses beyond sight. Brother Kryn growls low in his throat, his space wolf instincts recognizing a predator when they see one. Brother Victus raises his storm bolter and opens fire without preamble. Mass reactive rounds tear into Mercer's torso, each one exploding inside his biomass with enough force to pulp a human being. Mercer staggers backward 3 steps. Then he stops, the wounds close, and he charges. What follows is not a battle, it is an autopsy in motion. Mercer moves with speed that should be impossible for something his size, closing the distance to the kill team in seconds. Brother Victus fires until his bolter runs dry, then draws his power sword and meets Mercer's charge head-on. The blade ignites with crackling energy, slicing through biomass like paper. Mercer's arm falls to the ground, severed cleanly. Victus prepares for a killing blow.
Then the severed arm explodes into tendrils that wrap around his leg, burning through ceramite with digestive enzymes that liquefy even power armor. Victus roars in pain and fury, hacking at the tendrils, while Mercer regrows his missing limb in 3 seconds, and backhands the Space Marine with enough force to crack his helmet. Victus crashes into a wall, his armor system screaming damage alerts. He tries to stand. Mercer is already on him. A blade arm punches through his chest plate, through the black carapace beneath, through his secondary heart. Victus gasps once, then Mercer lifts him off the ground and begins to consume him. The other Astartes react instantly. Brother Kryn charges with his thunder hammer raised, roaring a Space Wolf battle cry. Brother Mortis opens fire with his heavy bolter, unleashing a stream of mass reactive death. Brother Librarian Ezekiel channels psychic fire, hurling bolts of warp energy that burn the air itself. Thalos coordinates their assault with tactical precision, directing fire to exploit gaps in Mercer's regeneration. For a moment it works. Mercer releases Victus's half-consumed corpse, and staggers under the combined assault, his biomass unable to regenerate faster than they can destroy it. This is what decades of Xenos hunting experience looks like. This is the Deathwatch at peak efficiency. And then Mercer adapts. His body shifts mid-combat, developing a chitinous shell that deflects bolter rounds like rain. He grows additional limbs to match their numbers. And worst of all, he begins using techniques he just learned from Victus's memories. He fights like a Black Templar, aggressive and relentless, pressing forward through damage that would kill anything else. The Deathwatch realizes with dawning horror that every second of combat teaches him more about how to kill Space Marines. Brother Librarian Ezekiel makes a desperate gambit. He reaches into the warp, drawing on psychic power that makes his eyes bleed behind his helmet, and unleashes a blast of pure telekinetic force. The attack hits Mercer like an artillery strike, throwing him backward through 3 hab blocks, cratering into a wall with enough impact to shatter ferrocrete. The kill team advances, weapons raised, preparing to execute the creature while it recovers. But when the dust clears, Mercer is standing, and he is smiling, because when he consumed that sanctioned psyker days ago, he gained more than just warp sensitivity. He gained the potential to use it. And combat is the greatest teacher of all. Mercer raises one hand. The air around it distorts, reality bending in ways that make the Astartes' enhanced vision blur. Then psychic lightning explodes from his palm, crude and uncontrolled but devastating. It hits Brother Mortis directly, overloading his armor systems, cooking him alive inside his own ceramite shell. Mortis falls, smoke rising from every joint in his plate, and Mercer laughs, not with voice, but with stolen psychic resonance that echoes in their minds like a death knell. Thalos makes the call that saves their lives. He orders a full retreat. The Deathwatch does not retreat. They are Space Marines. They know no fear. But Thalos is also a pragmatist, and he recognizes when tactical withdrawal is necessary to preserve assets for future engagement. They fall back under covering fire, Brother Kryn carrying Victus's body, Ezekiel collapsing from psychic strain, their armor scorched and breached in a dozen places. They reach the extraction point, and board their Thunderhawk as Mercer pursues them through the ruins, moving faster with every second, learning how to use his new psychic abilities even as they flee. The Thunderhawk lifts off, engines screaming, and barely escapes as Mercer leaps 30 meters into the air, blade arms carving scars across the hull. They make it to orbit, barely. And when Thalos reports to Inquisitor Carveth, his voice is tight with something Space Marines rarely feel. Not fear, but the recognition of a threat beyond their current capability to neutralize. 2 brothers lost, he says. The creature is psyker capable now, and it is learning combat doctrine faster than we can adapt our own. Carveth listens in silence. Then he asks the question that will haunt them all. What happens when it learns how to pilot a ship? The answer comes 6 hours later. Spaceport 7 goes dark. All Vox traffic ceases. Automated systems stop broadcasting. When a PDF reconnaissance squad investigates, they find the entire facility deserted. 12,000 workers, 300 Arbites officers, and 50 Imperial Navy personnel. Gone. No bodies, no blood. Just empty corridors and the smell of copper and rot. And in the primary hangar bay, a light transport vessel sits powered and ready for launch, its cargo hold sealed, its navigation systems programmed for the system's edge. Inquisitor Carveth stares at the surveillance feed, and feels something he has not felt in 30 years of service. True dread, because Alex Mercer is not just a biological weapon anymore. He is a thinking, learning, evolving intelligence that has just figured out how to leave this planet. And if he reaches the wider Imperium, if he makes it to a densely populated hive world, or a forge world, or worse,
the consumption of Brother Victus changes everything, not just tactically, ontologically. When Mercer absorbed the Black Templar's biomass, he did not just gain combat knowledge and enhanced physiology. He absorbed gene seed, the sacred genetic legacy of the Adeptus Astartes, implanted organs that transform mortal men into demigods of war. The secondary heart, the osmodula that reinforces bone structure, the biscopia that builds superhuman muscle, the preumnar that neutralizes toxins, 19 organs of concentrated genetic engineering, each one a masterwork of the Emperor's design, now integrated into Mercer's constantly adapting biology. The gene seed tries to reject him, recognizing foreign biology, triggering immune responses that would kill a normal human instantly. But Mercer is not normal. He is adaptive evolution made flesh, and he does not reject the gene seed. He improves it. Within hours his body begins producing its own version of Astartes organs, stripped of their rejection mechanisms, optimized for his viral biology. He is becoming something the Imperium has no name for. A space marine without humanity. An angel of death without a soul. But something else happens when the gene seed integrates. Something worse. The Astartes are not just biologically superior, they are spiritually consecrated, their gene seed blessed by the Emperor himself during the Great Crusade. That blessing is a psychic anchor, a fragment of the Emperor's will bound into genetic material, and when Mercer absorbs it, that anchor opens a door, not to the Emperor's light, but to the things that hate the light. The warp around Tertium Secundus begins to ripple. Astropaths across the system scream in unison, their minds burning with visions they cannot articulate. Something is watching, something vast and terrible and hungry has turned its attention toward this world. The ruinous powers have noticed Alex Mercer, and they are curious. On the daemon world of Sycharis, a sorcerer of the word bearers jolts awake from a trance. He has been meditating on the great ocean, reading the currents of the warp for omens and opportunity. What he sees makes him laugh with delight and horror. A new player has entered the game, not a daemon, not a mortal, something in between. Something that consumes and changes and grows without the limitations of chaos or the weaknesses of flesh. The sorcerer immediately begins preparations to open a rift to Tertium Secundus, not to conquer the world, but to offer Mercer a bargain. Join chaos, accept the gifts of the dark gods, become something truly eternal. The sorcerer does not consider that Mercer might refuse. Everything that lives desires power, and chaos is power unlimited. What could possibly say no? The warp rift tears open above District 73 at midnight. Reality screams. The air splits like torn fabric, spilling impossible colors and sounds that drive mortals mad. Daemons pour through the gap. Pink horrors giggling with malicious glee, blood letters howling for skulls, plague bearers oozing pestilence from rotting flesh. They descend on the hive like a tide of nightmares, killing everything they touch. But they are not here to slaughter, they are here to find him. The word-bearer sorcerer manifests last, stepping through the rift in a body that is more warped stuff than flesh. His skin covered in scripture written in languages that predate humanity. He extends his senses, searching for the biomass anomaly. He finds Mercer 3 kilometers away, feeding on a collapsed hab block. The sorcerer smiles, and he sends his daemons to bring the creature to him. They will offer him godhood, and if he refuses, they will tear him apart and feed his essence to the warp. Either outcome serves chaos. The daemons find Mercer in the ruins, his form hunched over the corpses of 40 hive workers. He senses them before they attack. The warp taint they carry is like a stench in his new psychic awareness, unnatural and wrong and fascinating. The blood letters charge first, screaming mindlessly, their brass swords raised. Mercer meets them without hesitation. His blade arms clash against demonic metal, sparks flying, the sound like grinding teeth. He kills 3 bloodletters in the first exchange, his strikes precise and brutal. But the daemons do not die like mortals. Their forms disperse into warp smoke, banished back to the Imperium, only to reform moments later. Mercer realizes immediately that these enemies are different. They are not biological, they are metaphysical, and his consumption cannot work on them because there is no biomass to absorb. For the first time since arriving in this galaxy, Alex Mercer encounters something he cannot consume, and it makes him angry. The battle escalates into chaos. Pink horrors hurl warp fire that burns through his regeneration, leaving scars that refuse to heal. Plague bearers infect his biomass with demonic diseases that corrupt his cellular structure at the molecular level. Mercer fights desperately, adapting constantly, but every adaptation is countered by demonic resilience. He grows armor plating. Warp fire melts it. He develops acidic secretions. The daemons ignore them. He channels stolen psychic power to blast them apart. They reform in seconds. This is not a fight he can win through evolution. This is a fight against beings that exist outside evolution's rules. And then the word-bearer sorcerer is floating above the battlefield on wings of shadow and scripture. He speaks in a voice that resonates in Mercer's mind, bypassing language, transmitting meaning directly into consciousness. You are wasted in this form, the sorcerer says. You could be so much more. Join us. Accept the blessings of chaos. We will give you immortality beyond flesh. Power beyond comprehension. All we ask is worship. Mercer stops fighting. The daemons pull back, waiting. The sorcerer descends, extending one clawed hand in a gesture that might be friendship or might be threat. For a long moment, Mercer considers the offer. He has consumed knowledge of chaos from the minds of his victims. He knows what they are offering. Eternal existence in the warp. Power without biological limits, the ability to corrupt and transform reality itself. It is tempting, but Alex Mercer has never worshipped anything. Not governments, not gods, not even his own creators. He exists to consume, to evolve, to become the apex of all things, and chaos demands submission, demands that he bow to powers greater than himself. Demands that he admit there are limits to what he can become. Mercer's answer is a blade arm through the sorcerer's chest. The word-bearer gasps in shock and pain.
You moving through your organs, your blood, your bones. You feel your body betraying you, your cells breaking apart, your consciousness fragmenting. And in the last moment before you dissolve completely, you feel something worse than death. You feel yourself becoming part of it. Your memories, your love for your children, your prayers to the Emperor, all of it absorbed, catalogued, stored in a vast biological intelligence that will use everything you were to become something stronger. You cease to be Elena, you become biomass, and the infection spreads. This scene repeats across 17 districts, simultaneously. Mercer is no longer hunting, he is farming. His consumption of the daemon sorcerer taught him new techniques, new ways to manipulate biological matter at a distance. He does not need to be present to spread infection anymore. He has seeded the population with microscopic viral particles, fragments of his own biomass, so small they pass through air filtration systems, through sealed doors, through protective gear. They lie dormant in human hosts until activated by a psychic trigger. Then they consume from within, transforming victims into biomass factories that spread the infection exponentially. What took hours before now takes minutes. What took individual consumption now happens to thousands simultaneously. The Imperium's greatest weakness is its population density. Hive cities pack billions of humans into vertical warrens where they breathe the same recycled air, drink the same recycled water, touch the same surfaces. They are not cities. They are petri dishes. And Alex Mercer has just introduced a catalyst that turns humanity into fuel. Inquisitor Carveth watches the horror unfold through surveillance feeds. Entire districts going dark in sequence. Population counters dropping from millions to thousands in hours. His face is carved from stone, emotionless, but his hands grip the armrests of his command throne hard enough to crack the ceramite. He has seen horrors across 3 decades of inquisitorial service. He has watched planets burn. He has executed billions in the Emperor's name. But this is different. This is not war. This is consumption. The systematic dismantling of human civilization, one person at a time, each death feeding something that grows stronger with every meal. And the worst part is the speed. Tyrannid invasions take months. Chaos corruption takes years. This has been 9 days. 9 days since Alex Mercer fell from the sky. And already 4 billion people are dead or infected. At this rate, Tertium Secundus will be a dead world in 72 hours. And if he escapes before then, if he reaches another world, the Imperium will face an extinction-level threat unlike anything in its history. The Inquisitor makes the call that damns him. He activates his personal override codes, authority granted only to the highest ranks of the Inquisition, and contacts the Imperial Navy directly. He requests immediate exterminatus authorization. Not pending, not under consideration. Immediate. The response comes from Admiral Corvin, commanding the battleship Righteous Fury in high orbit. The Admiral is old, veteran of 100 void battles, his face scarred by plasma fire, and his eyes cold as the void itself. He listens to Carveth's report without interruption. Then he asks the only question that matters. How many can we evacuate? Carveth's answer is brutal in its honesty. Not enough. The infection spreads faster than we can screen refugees. Anyone we evacuate could be carrying microscopic contamination. We cannot risk it reaching other worlds. The Admiral is silent for 30 seconds. Then he gives the order Carveth knew was coming. Prepare cyclonic torpedoes. Full planetary bombardment. Nothing survives. Carveth closes his eyes and whispers a prayer he learned as a child. Emperor, protect us. The Emperor does not answer. He never does. The evacuation that does occur is selective and merciless. Inquisitorial acolytes, key administratum personnel, mechanicus magi, high-ranking military officers, anyone deemed essential to Imperial operations in the sector. They are screened through bioscanners, psychic probes and gene testing that takes hours per person. Out of 18 billion souls on Tertium Secundus, 3,000 are cleared for evacuation. 3,000, the rest are declared lost. The transports begin lifting off from the Governor's Spire, carrying their precious cargo to the Righteous Fury in orbit. The civilians left behind do not understand at first. They gather at the Spire's base, thousands of them begging to be taken aboard. The PDF guards hold the line with las guns raised. Then someone in the crowd realizes what is happening. They are being abandoned, left to die. The crowd surges forward. The PDF opens fire. Hundreds die in the first volley, their bodies trampled by those behind them. The guards keep firing until their power packs run dry. It does not matter. The crowd keeps coming, driven by animal desperation, by the knowledge that death is spreading through the hive and their only chance of survival is going up without them. They die by the thousands at the spire's base, shot down or crushed in the stampede, their bodies piling high enough to block the gates. And somewhere in the chaos, Alex Mercer watches and learns what desperation looks like, what fear smells like, what the Imperium truly is beneath its prayers and propaganda. A machine that sacrifices billions to save thousands, and he files that knowledge away for future use. The final transport lifts off 12 hours before the bombardment is scheduled to begin. Inquisitor Carveth watches from the bridge of the righteous fury as Tertium Secundus turns slowly beneath them, a sphere of metal and stone wrapped in the pollution of 10,000 years of industry. He can see the dark patches spreading across the surface, dead zones where the infection has killed everything. He can see the fires burning in districts where desperate PDF commanders have tried to contain the spread with incendiary weapons. He can see the orbital defense platforms, their
armor plating 3 meters thick. Alarms shriek across every deck. Hull breach on decks 14 through 17. Atmosphere venting. Emergency bulkheads sealing. The crew scrambles to combat stations, not understanding what has hit them, thinking perhaps it was debris or an enemy torpedo. Then the reports start coming in from the breach site. Something is inside the ship. Something is moving through the corridors. Something is killing the damage control teams. The ship's captain, a veteran Void officer named Thalius, orders armed response teams to the breach. 30 armsmen with shotguns and hellguns, trained to repel boarders. They reach the compromised section and find walls covered in something that looks like black oil but moves with purpose. Tendrils hanging from overhead pipes like vines. The smell of copper and rot filling the recycled air. And then the walls attack. Mercer has dispersed himself throughout the damaged sections, spreading his biomass thin, learning the layout of Imperial vessels from the inside. He flows through ventilation shafts, power conduits, sewage recyclers, any space large enough to accommodate his mass. He is no longer a single entity. He is a distributed intelligence, pieces of himself operating semi-independently while maintaining connection to the whole. When the armsmen enter his territory, he strikes from every angle at once. Tendrils lash from ceiling vents, dragging men upward into darkness. Walls split open, revealing mouths full of bone teeth that bite and tear and consume. The floor itself becomes predatory, liquefying underfoot, pulling victims down into biomass that dissolves them in seconds. The armsmen fire wildly, shotgun slugs and las beams punching through flesh that regenerates faster than they can damage it. Within 2 minutes, all 30 are dead or consumed. Within 5 minutes, Mercer has absorbed enough crew to understand how Imperial ships function, how their reactors work, how their weapons are controlled, how their void shields operate, and most importantly, how to pilot them. The bridge of the Emperor's wrath is designed to be impregnable,
3-meter-thick blast doors, armed guards at every entrance. Command crew trained to fight off boarding actions. None of it matters. Mercer does not attack the bridge from outside. He attacks from within. The walls, the floor, the very air recyclers pumping atmosphere into the sealed chamber. He had spread microscopic particles of himself through the ventilation systems, fragments too small to detect, and now he activates them. The bridge crew begins to choke, their lungs filling with something that feels like water but burns like acid. They claw at their throats, gasping for air that will not come. Captain Thalius reaches for his sidearm, intending to sell his life dearly, but his hand will not obey. His nervous system is shutting down, paralyzed by viral agents in his bloodstream. He falls to his knees, watching helplessly as his crew dies around him, as black tendrils begin emerging from the ventilation grates, as something massive and terrible pulls itself onto his bridge through spaces too small for anything human-sized to fit. Alex Mercer reforms on the command deck, his body smaller now, almost human-sized, wearing the face of the first crewman he consumed. He looks at Captain Thalius with eyes that hold the memories of 800 dead sailors, and then he sits in the captain's chair and begins interfacing with the ship's machine spirit. The righteous Fury's bridge erupts in chaos as the Emperor's wrath suddenly changes course, her engines firing at full power, accelerating toward the planet instead of away from it. Admiral Corvin demands status reports, orders the cruiser to respond to hails. Nothing. The ship has gone silent, then her weapon systems come online. Lance batteries swivel toward the fleet. Torpedo tubes load. Void shields maximize. And the Emperor's wrath, now under Alex Mercer's control, opens fire. The first Lance strike hits a destroyer, punching through her aft section, crippling her engines. The second strike cripples a transport fleeing with evacuated personnel. Corvin makes the only call possible. He orders the fleet to fire on the Emperor's wrath, to destroy her before she can cause more damage. But even as the order goes out, even as loyal Imperial ships begin targeting their corrupted sister, Inquisitor Carveth stares at the tactical display and realizes the horrifying truth. Mercer is not trying to destroy the fleet. He is learning how to operate void-capable vessels. He is testing weapon systems, navigation controls, warp drive activation sequences. The Emperor's wrath is not a weapon, it is a classroom. And when he is done learning, when he has absorbed every technical manual in the ship's cogitator banks, when he understands how humanity travels between stars, nothing will stop him from spreading to every world in the Imperium. The Inquisitor turns to Admiral Corvin and speaks words that seal both their fates. Fire the cyclonic torpedoes. Not at the planet. At that ship. Obliterate it before he learns how to escape. Corvin hesitates for only a moment. Then he gives the order that damns 800 loyal Imperial souls still aboard the Emperor's wrath. May the Emperor forgive us. The torpedoes launch, and Tertium Secundus's nightmare enters its final act. The cyclonic torpedoes are not conventional weapons. They are extinction events compressed into metal casings, warheads designed to crack continents and boil oceans. Each torpedo carries a payload capable of triggering atmospheric collapse, chain reactions that spread across entire hemispheres. The Imperium reserves them for only the most desperate situations. when Xeno's corruption runs too deep, when chaos takes permanent hold, when a world must die so the Imperium can live. 6 torpedoes launch from the righteous Fury's ventral tubes, their plasma drives igniting like newborn stars, accelerating toward the Emperor's wrath at velocities that bend physics. They cross the distance in 90 seconds. Mercer detects them immediately through the ship's auger arrays. He understands what they are. He has consumed enough crew to know what cyclonic torpedoes mean. He has exactly 90 seconds to escape, and he uses every one of them. The Emperor's Wrath's engines scream as Mercer pushes them past safety limits, redirecting all power from weapons and shields to propulsion. The ship lurches forward, diving toward Tertium Secundus's atmosphere, gambling that the torpedo's targeting systems will not fire if it risks destroying the planet prematurely. It is a calculated risk based on incomplete knowledge of Imperial doctrine. He is wrong. The torpedo's
command station, his face carved from granite, refusing to show the grief that threatens to consume him. He has just murdered his homeworld, 18 billion souls erased by his order. History will not remember him kindly. He will die with this weight on his conscience. But he will die knowing he did what was necessary, that the Imperium survives, that the infection ends here. He turns to Inquisitor Carveth, ready to deliver his final report, and then the augury officer speaks again, his voice breaking. "Sir, contact detected. Single massive biomass signature. Eastern Hemisphere. Rising from the surface. How is that possible?" The officer has no answer, because what rises from Tertium Secundus should not exist, cannot exist. But it does. Alex Mercer emerges from the inferno like a god born from fire. He has absorbed every fragment that survived the initial bombardment, reconsolidating into a single entity deep within the planetary fault line where the bombardment's heat was partially shielded by kilometers of rock. He fed on the magma itself, consuming minerals and energy, learning to metabolize temperatures that would vaporize steel. He grew, he adapted, he evolved, and when he rises from the crater that was once a hive city, he is no longer merely biological. His body is a fusion of organic tissue and crystallized rock, heat-resistant scales layered over muscles that burn with internal fire. He has become something beyond flesh, beyond machine, beyond anything the Imperium has classification for. A living embodiment of adaptation itself, standing 50 meters tall in the ruins of a dead world surrounded by fire and ash. He looks up at the fleet in orbit, and for the first time since arriving in this universe, Alex Mercer does something unexpected. He stops. He does not attack. He does not flee. He simply stands in the burning wasteland and waits, because he has learned something crucial from consuming 18 billion minds, something that changes everything. In those final moments, as he absorbed the memories of dying hive workers and terrified soldiers and desperate parents clutching their children, he learned what the Imperium truly is. Not an empire. A prison. Humanity trapped in a galaxy that wants them dead, fighting endless wars against enemies they cannot defeat, sustained only by faith in an emperor who has not spoken in 10,000 years. And in that knowledge, Mercer recognizes something familiar. He sees himself reflected in the Imperium's desperate struggle for survival.
both of them apex predators in a universe that refuses to let them rest, both of them adapting, evolving, doing whatever is necessary to continue existing. The Imperium consumes worlds to fuel its war machine. Mercer consumes organisms to fuel his evolution. They are not so different, and in that recognition, a possibility emerges. What if he does not fight the Imperium? What if he becomes part of it? What if evolution and humanity find common ground? Inquisitor Carveth stares at the figure standing in the ashes and knows with absolute certainty that whatever Mercer is thinking, whatever he is planning, it will change the galaxy forever. The creature is learning, still learning, even in the face of planetary annihilation. And the most terrifying question remains unanswered. What happens when something that cannot be killed decides to stop running and start negotiating? The standoff lasts 17 minutes. 17 minutes where neither side moves. The Imperial fleet maintains firing solutions on Mercer's position. Weapons hot, crews ready to unleash another bombardment, but Admiral Corvin does not give the order. Because something has changed. The creature is not attacking, not fleeing, not even moving. It simply stands there, a titan of biomass and stone, its eyeless face turned toward the heavens, watching them, waiting. Inquisitor Carveth runs probability calculations in his mind, trying to predict what Mercer wants, what he is planning. Every scenario ends in catastrophe. If they fire and miss even a single fragment, it will scatter again, survive again, learn from their tactics again. If they do not fire, it might be gathering strength for another escape attempt. And if it succeeds, if it reaches another world, the nightmare begins anew. There are no good options, only degrees of failure. The Inquisitor opens a Vox channel to the fleet. Prepare boarding teams. We are going down there. The bridge crew stares at him like he has gone mad. Admiral Corvin opens his mouth to object, then closes it, because he understands. The only way to end this is to understand what they are fighting, and understanding requires contact. The Thunderhawk descends through ash storms and thermal updrafts, its hull rattling from atmospheric turbulence. Inside, Inquisitor Carveth sits in silence, surrounded by his retinue. The surviving Death Watch Marines, brothers Thalos, Kryn and Ezekiel, still wounded from their previous encounter. 3 battle sisters from the Order of the Bloody Rose, their armor scorched black, their faith unshaken despite the horrors they have witnessed. And xenobiologist Vayera, ancient and frail, her augmetic eyes glowing with analytical fascination. They land 1 kilometer from Mercer's position, far enough to retreat if necessary, close enough to communicate. The boarding ramp lowers. Heat washes over them like opening a furnace. The ground is still molten in places, pools of liquid rock cooling into glass. The air is toxic, unbreathable without rebreathers. And in the distance, through the haze of ash and smoke, Alex Mercer waits. Carveth steps forward, his retinue follows, and they walk toward the thing that killed a world. Mercer watches them approach. He has grown smaller since they last saw him, condensing his mass, reshaping his form into something less monstrous. He stands now at 3 meters tall, roughly humanoid, his body still armored in crystalline scales but recognizably bipedal, almost like he is trying to appear less threatening, almost like he wants them to listen. When they reach 50 meters distance, Carveth raises his hand. The retinue stops.
The Inquisitor walks the remaining distance alone, his rosarius humming with protective energy, his bolt pistol holstered but accessible. He stops 10 meters from Mercer. They regard each other in silence.
What does a creature that consumes everything possibly need from us? Mercer's response is immediate and terrifying in its simplicity. Knowledge. Access to your archives. Your history. Your understanding of this galaxy. I want to learn without consuming. I want to evolve beyond hunger. Give me this and I will fight your wars. I will become your weapon. I will be the monster that kills monsters. The offer hangs in the burning air like poison and promise intertwined. Carveth looks back at his retinue. Brother Thalos shakes his head firmly. This is a trap. The creature seeks only to escape and spread. Sister Superior Magdalena grips her bolter tighter, ready to fire on command. But Cinebiologist Viera stares at Mercer with something approaching wonder. If he is telling the truth, she whispers. If there is even a chance he can be directed rather than destroyed. Think what we could accomplish. Think of the threats we could eliminate. The Inquisitor closes his eyes. He thinks of Tertium Secundus, 18 billion dead. He thinks of the Emperor's wrath, 800 loyal sailors consumed. He thinks of the Deathwatch Marines killed in combat, the PDF regiments dissolved into biomass, the families torn apart, the children who died screaming for parents who could not save them. Then he thinks of the Imperium, besieged on all sides, losing ground every year, bleeding resources and manpower in wars that can never truly be won. He thinks of the millions of worlds under constant threat, the trillions of souls depending on the Imperium's protection, and he makes a choice that will haunt him forever. He draws his bolt pistol, aims it at Mercer's head, and speaks the words that end the negotiation. The Imperium does not bargain with abominations. We do not make deals with things that wear human faces as camouflage. You say you want to serve, but service requires trust, and you have proven incapable of being trusted. There is no place for you in the Emperor's Imperium. There is only death. May he have mercy on your soul, if you even have one. Mercer does not move, does not react. He simply stands there as Carveth pulls the trigger, as the mass reactive bolt screams across the distance, as it impacts his skull and detonates. The explosion tears away half of Mercer's head. He staggers backward one step, then he regenerates. The flesh flows back together like water finding its level. And in that moment both sides understand. The negotiation is over. The war begins anew. Mercer moves first, not with rage or desperation, but with cold efficiency. He has spent 17 minutes studying the retinue while they talked, analyzing their positions, their equipment, their probable combat patterns. He knows exactly who to target first. Brother Librarian Ezekiel, the Psyker, is wounded, drained from previous battles, and psychic attacks are the only weapons that bypass regeneration consistently. Mercer crosses the distance in a heartbeat, biomass propelling him forward with explosive force. Ezekiel barely has time to raise his force staff before blade arms punch through his armor, through his rib cage, lifting him off the ground. The Blood Angel gasps blood, his secondary heart rupturing, but he does not die quietly. With his last breath he channels every remaining fragment of psychic power into a final blast. Warp fire erupts from his body like a supernova.
washing over Mercer in waves of immaterial energy that burn deeper than any physical flame. Mercer screams a sound like tearing metal and dying animals as portions of his biomass are unmade at the molecular level. Ezekiel falls dead, his gene seed lost forever, but his sacrifice buys the others precious seconds to respond. Brother Thalos and Brother Kryn engage simultaneously, their combat doctrine honed through decades of hunting Xenos together. Thalos fires his stalker pattern bolter on full auto, mass reactive rounds stitching across Mercer's torso while Kryn charges with his thunder hammer raised high. The hammer descends with enough force to shatter tanks, striking Mercer's shoulder, crushing crystalline armor and the flesh beneath. Mercer's arm hangs useless for 3 seconds. Then it reforms, stronger than before, the damaged tissue learning from the impact. He counters with terrifying speed, one blade arm deflecting Thalos's gunfire while another parries Kryn's follow-up strike. The Space Wolf's warrior roars his chapter's battle cry, fighting with berserker fury, but Mercer has consumed an Astartes before. He knows their combat patterns, their enhanced reaction speeds, their vulnerability. When Kryn overextends on a power strike, Mercer's counterattack is surgical. Tendrils wrap around the Space Wolf's legs, yanking him off balance, and a blade arm drives through the weak point where helmet meets gorget. Kryn dies instantly, his spine severed. Brother Thalos howls in grief and fury, advancing with bolter blazing, but he is alone now against something that learns from every kill. The Battle Sisters lay down, suppressing fire, their bolters singing hymns of destruction, while Sister Superior Magdalena advances with her power sword ignited. The blade cuts through Mercer's biomass with crackling energy, severing limbs, opening wounds that actually slow his regeneration. For a moment it seems like they might prevail through sheer weight of fire. Then Mercer adapts again. His body shifts, developing additional mass along his flanks, growing new limbs to replace those cut away faster than the sisters can destroy them. He becomes something arachnid, spider-like, with 8 blade arms moving independently, each one targeting a different sister. 2 go down in the first exchange, their armor breached, their bodies consumed before they hit the ground. Magdalena fights on with zealous fury, her faith unshaken even as her squad dies around her. She manages to sever 3 of Mercer's limbs in rapid succession, her swordsmanship masterful, but for every limb she cuts, 2 more grow. She is drowning in flesh and fury. Her final prayer to the Emperor is cut short as biomass envelops her completely, pulling her into Mercer's mass, dissolving her faith and flesh together. Inquisitor Carveth fires his bolt pistol until the magazine runs empty, then draws his power sword and charges. He is not an Astartes, not enhanced beyond human limits, but he is Inquisition, and he has faced horrors that would break lesser men. His Rosarius flares with protective energy as tendrils lash toward him, deflecting attacks that would tear him apart. His power sword bites deep, cutting away chunks of Mercer's reach